Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Beth, and here in a little while when we get back from the library, we'll be doing a library haul. We have got to go so we can get a Ninja Turtle book. I was going to give you a video of her saying all this, but for some reason I can't make my phone and my computer friends, so we're going to switcheroony, and I'm just telling you that's what we're doing, and we'll be back in a minute with a library haul. Ah! Unfortunately, we did not find the Ninja Turtles book that she was so ardently searching for. The two that are listed on our library's website both said that they were in, but even after I laid down on the floor in the dark corner of the basement children's library and reached under bookshelves, did not find them. They were not where they were supposed to be or on any of the shelves around them, nor were they on that cart where they put things that have been returned but not put up yet. So I don't know what happened, and the summer reading program was going on, so the librarian wasn't actually in there. She was in with a bunch of elementary and middle school kids doing the summer reading program, and I did not get to talk to her. But never fear, Elena has found 9 other books that she wishes to read this week. So without further ado, let me start our library book haul. So the first book we grabbed is Finding Winnie, the True Story of the World's Most Famous Bear by Lindsay Maddock and illustrated by Sophie Blackall. And this is the true story of Winnie the Pooh, the actual bear Winnie that the name Winnie the Pooh was kind of based off of, where they got the original idea for a bear friend. And Lindsay Maddock is the great-granddaughter of Captain Harry Colburn, who was the original owner, best friend of whatever, to the bear Winnie. So this is her story. She has shared it on the radio before, and they put it into print. And one of my favorite things about this is I did a big project about A.A. Milne, focusing mainly on Winnie the Pooh, when I was taking a course on children's literature. And so I actually researched a little bit about Captain Colburn, and the story itself is just kind of fun. And Lindsay Maddock says that she has grown up thinking of Winnie the Pooh as her own great-grand bear. And so she lives in Toronto, but she's done the radio documentary, spearheaded an original exhibition, and traveled to the UK to commemorate Harry and Winnie's experience in World War I. And so there are actually some pictures in this. It has a little album of the original Winnie and Christopher Robin, and Winnie with Harry Colburn right there. And it is a great story. It just goes to show you that some things happen and then they are commemorated forever. So I love that she saw this and wanted it. We read Winnie the Pooh on audiobook together a couple of weeks ago, and she's just been really in the mood to learn more about bears and about the real story of Winnie the Pooh, and it's just phenomenal. I love how this kid's mind works. But anyway, the next one we grabbed was Cartouche, which is written by Stephen Cosgrove and illustrated by Robin James. Now, while the last book came out at the end of 2015, I believe, this one is from the end of the 70s. So I think this was published in 1978. I have a few of these little oddly illustrated fantasy kids books upstairs, and she really enjoys looking at them. So when she saw this one, she grabbed it immediately. We also found this book. It is illustrated by Nicola O'Byrne, and then at the bottom it says words by Nick Bromley. It's called Open Very Carefully, A Book with Bite. And I don't actually know how to explain this book. It was published in 2013, so some of you may have already seen it. But it starts out with her starting to tell the story of the ugly duckling, and then it's like, wait, what is that? And there's a big old hole in the back. So basically, there's a crocodile going through, and I think he's eating the pages. We haven't read it yet. Next, I have Pecos Bill Rides a Tornado by Wyatt Blasingame. Now, this book in particular is one that I picked up for her instead of asking her if she wanted it. And I did so because we're from Texas. And this was published in 1973. So when I was in the third and fourth grades in 1993 or so, this was something we read, and we watched the movie Tall Tale, and Pecos Bill was one of the main tall tales we spoke about. And I want her to know her heritage, okay? Sue me. The next one we got was Stretch. This is about a dog who is doing kind of yoga moves. It's by Doreen Cronin and Scott Minchin, and Doreen Cronin is the best-selling author of Click Clack Moo, Cows That Type. And so she has this series of dogs doing thing picture books, apparently. On the back it says Wiggle and Bounce are two of her other books. And basically, kids shouldn't be expected to sit still through long narrations. So this is a book where it tells them about animals and how you can do these yoga stretches, and some will stretch high in the sky, and some animals stretch to show you their feathers, some stretch to show you spots. So can you stretch? The kids can then get up and do little stretches in their spots, which I think is pretty cool. Next, we have The Magic School Bus on the Ocean Floor by Joanna Cole, illustrated by Bruce Deegan, I believe is how you say his name. And this is another one that's kind of an older children's picture book like Winnie. And this is also another nonfiction, or a kind of mixture of fiction and nonfiction, since they do go in a bus to the ocean floor. But she really, really likes books that have facts that she can hold on to. And this book was published in 1992, and it has wonderful illustrations, of course, like all the Magic School Bus books. But the entire reason that she got this, guys, we're standing in the library, and she looks at me and she's like, "That's about the ocean." And I said, "Yes, that's the Magic School Bus about the ocean." And she says, "Does it go to the bottom?" And I said, "Yeah, it's about the ocean floor." And she said, "Okay, anemones live on the ocean floor, and anemones eat fish poop, and maybe this will tell me more about anemones and coral reefs. We should get this." Boom. Mic drop. Kid walks away, and I'm like, maybe we should get this. My 3-year-old wants to learn the true story behind Winnie the Pooh and find out more about sea anemones and coral reefs and the fish that live there. I don't often say that I'm doing things right, but there must be something that I'm doing right, because, yeah. Anyway, we also got 2 Curious George books. This is Curious George Goes to an Ice Cream Shop, and this edition was published in 1989. And this is Curious George's First Day of School, which was republished in 2008. I don't know if these are direct republishings of the originals, because the originals have a lot of, how shall I put this, non-PC things in them, terms that were used more frequently in earlier days and are not typically used now. And so Elena actually has a few of the older copies of the stories, and will take things like, she has the 5-minute Curious George storybook and then some of the singular stories, and she'll take them and have me read them to her, and she'll have the other one open like she's reading it. And then if I say a word, she has enough alphabetical letter recognition that about half of the time she can say that's not the same word, or she'll ask me to stop and point out if there are different words, because she noticed in Curious George Flies a Kite, there is a fat man fishing on the pier in the one published in the 70s, and in her 5-minute Curious George storybook, it talks about there is just a man fishing. There's a fisherman. And so the "there's a fat man fishing" got taken out in favor of something that was more PC. So they slimmed him down and just call him a fisherman in the new book, which I think A, is flippin' funny, and B, is pretty amazing that a 3-year-old noticed it. And finally, for her, she always gets a chapter book, and normally I get her a children's beginning chapter book that we read together, but we spotted this Wonder Woman at Superhero High by Lisa Yee, and she loves superheroes and pretty much anything to do with superheroes, and she and my mother are huge Wonder Woman fans. And when she realized it was Wonder Woman, she immediately needed me to pick it up for her, and when I tried to tell her it's a middle grade novel, she did not care. Then when we checked it out, the head librarian looked at it and said, "Oh yeah, I unpacked that this morning and sent it down to be shelved about an hour ago." So we're the first people to pick this book up. It is a brand new release, and that excited both of us to no end. So that is the kids version of the library haul, and I will film a separate library haul for my books because this is already 8.5 minutes long. So I will see you guys again in just a couple of minutes with my library haul. Bye.